Hey, let's talk about essential wealth principles our family follows. I'm so excited to dive into today's episode. If you're new here, hey, I'm Rachel Ngom. You should definitely subscribe. I create content that's going to help you create more freedom in your life and in your business, specifically through lead generation, Pinterest, and online courses, passive income. Those things are all my jam, and I'm so excited that you're here. So let's talk wealth principles. And as I dive into this, I think it's helpful to hear the backstory of where we were. Because we've come a long way. When I look back, I'm like, oh my gosh. So from being on food stamps, negative $400 in our checking account, buying things we couldn't afford with money we didn't have, being in debt, buying a tractor for our business. I'm like, we could have rented it, buying a giant truck, staying in really shady motels that had bed bugs, and ended up doing like drug dealing and all kinds when I'm pregnant. Going from pawn shop to pawn shop, selling stuff to get our bank account out of the negative, and struggling. Not being, let's just say, like, not being groomed for success when it comes to understanding money and how it works and how to grow it and how to multiply it. And so through going through, a lot of those hardships and a lot of those things that, those lessons that we have learned the hard way. One of the things my husband and I, were really intentional about creating wealth, creating a legacy, and creating a vision of what we're here to create. And so step one, I'm talking about 9 different things, the 9 different principles that are going to help you create wealth that we follow. So principle number 1 is you got to know your vision. You got to know, what do you want? What kind of lifestyle do you want? What's your goal? And so because we know what we want, our goal is to be able to retire by the time we're 40. I just turned 34. So we got a little bit of time, but we're going to make it happen. You got to know your vision. And so we're really clear on this is our vision. And so because we know that, it's easy for us to say no to certain things. Does this help us get closer to this specific vision? If the answer is no, then we're not going to do it. Does buying a $50,000 car help us get closer to this vision? No, it doesn't. We've had opportunities, like we were thinking a couple years ago, oh, we want to buy an equestrian property here in Florida. And most of them are going to end up putting us $750,000 in debt, and not having a guaranteed return on that investment. And so because we know our vision, we were able to say no to this, and not no forever. It's a no right now. Cause I know definitely in our future, that's going to happen. That's my hubby's passion, is training and riding. He does show jumping, and let's make sure Voxer's turned off. That helps. And so that's a part of our long-term vision. But short-term, for us to be able to retire by 40, going $750,000 in debt doesn't help us reach it, right? Second principle is you've got to learn money. They don't teach this in school. And I'm like, why would I learn, calculus and all this other crap that you've never used, but they don't actually teach you how money works. You got to learn money. I've read so many books about money, investing. And at first it sounded like a foreign language. Like when it talked about index funds and EFTs and all these things, I'm like, this is Greek. Oh my goodness. But the more I immersed myself in it, the more I listened to it and just absorbed that information, the more it started to make sense. And now my husband and I have conversations that I'm like, look at us all smart, actually understanding this stuff and what's happening. You have to learn money. And so I've, some of the books that I highly recommend, Tony Robbins, the book Unshakable is a great one. Mastering the Game of Money is another one. I think that's what it's called. And for when I first listened to his first book, Mastering the Game of Money, I think that's what it's called. Oh my goodness. It's in my bookshelf right back there. The first time I listened to it, I didn't really understand everything that he was talking about. I was like, I kind of get it. And then when I read it again, I was like, okay, it's starting to make sense. And so it's one of those things, the more you listen to it, the more you put yourself in that environment, the more you're committed to learning it, the more it's going to start to make sense. And so my husband, Alphonse, and I listened to Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, and, all the books that he put out. And it made so much sense. We're like, oh, okay, we don't want a job because, when you have a job, you end up paying so much money in taxes. We have to make our goal and part of our vision to become, business owners and then investors. And so our big focus is how can we invest more? And we've come to that conclusion from understanding and learning more about money. Number 3 is invest in yourself. And so the most important investment that you can make is in yourself. And this is something I've been doing consistently over the past decade, is looking for different opportunities that I can invest in myself, in my knowledge, and my growth. It might be attending an event. Like I've been to Tony Robbins' Wealth Mastery, Business Mastery, Unleash the Power Within, Date with Destiny. I've been to so many different events, worked with different mentors, with business coaches, life coaches, health coaches. And I'm always thinking about how can I up level? How can I put myself in an environment that's going to help me grow? And so at first, it's like, all right, I need to be in a mastermind with people that are at a little bit of a higher level than me. And now I see myself, I'm like, ooh, like it's helped me up level. And now I'm at their level. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like what's our next level? So I'm always looking at up leveling, investing in myself. And this starts like you start with $1, like you buy a book and you learn from that book. And then you take what you learn from that book and eventually it's going to start to compound. And then you're going to be making bigger investments into yourself. Principle number 4, if you are faithful with the little, you'll be made ruler over much. If you're faithful with the little, you'll be made ruler over much. That's Matthew 25:23. I teach this to my son because he's like asking for a new iPad or a new computer or a new game or whatever that is. And I'm like, dude, I see the way you treat what you currently have. I'm not going to get you something more expensive and better because you're not faithful with what you already have. It's the money that you have been given and trusted with. Are you being faithful with that little so you can become ruler over much? And you can apply this principle to everything. Like in your business, if you have one person attend a webinar, one client sign up to work with you, are you being faithful with that person? Are you treating them like gold, right? So being faithful with the little that you have been entrusted with and being able to multiply that. Principle number 5 is to give. Give even when you think you can't afford to give. You give. It's giving out of faith. Man, when my husband was laid off from his job and I was a full-time grad student, that was kind of scary because we were living on the property where he was working. So all of a sudden we didn't have a place to live. We didn't have credit to get into a new place. I didn't have a job, so we had zero income basically. And that day, instead of being like, oh, what are we going to do? I'm like, okay, we're stepping out of faith and we're going to give. So we went and we sponsored a child with Compassion International. And something that Tony Robbins says is if you won't give a dime out of $1, you're never going to give $1 million out of 10 million. And so even when you think you can't afford to give, just give. And it ends up coming back to you like 1 million times over. So just find something that is near and dear to your heart and give today. Start small, do what you can with what you have. Number 6, use your business as a money machine. This is exactly how I think of my business. My business is a money machine and I pay myself first and I use this business and the money that I pay myself with to invest into other areas. And so I pay myself here, but I don't spend it. Think of that money. It's like it's seed. You don't spend all of your seed, you plant it, you help it grow. Okay. So I'm using that money and we're investing 70% of it. We're investing it into stock market. We're investing it into other businesses. We're investing it into, we bought cars and we're doing car rentals in Senegal. We're doing a chicken coop. We're going to have 75,000 eggs per month. There's a lot of different things that we're doing. And we're using this business as a money machine to fund all those other investments. Okay. So use your business as a money machine. Number 7 is create passive income. If you can't find a way to make money while you sleep, you'll work until you die. That's Warren Buffett said that. And so you got to figure out a way for you to become an investor, to automate your investments, and to create more assets. We're always focused on how can we create more assets and limit our liabilities. And so again, we're always looking at different passive income streams that we can create and focus the majority of our money that comes in from our money machine goes to those different investments and passive income. So we are making money while we sleep and we're not going to have to work until we die because we're retiring by 40. Yes. Number 8, create multiple income streams. The average millionaire has 7 income streams. If you only have one and it goes away, because tomorrow's not promised. Coronavirus taught us all of that. Tomorrow's not promised. If one goes away, what are you going to do? You have to have multiple streams of income, which is why we're looking at, all right, we have the money machine coming in. We're investing into stock market. You know, we have different index funds and different stocks that we're investing into, but then we're also looking at in Senegal, the different investments, buying land, starting businesses over there. And then we're also looking at real estate in America too. And so we're always looking at different income streams, create multiple income streams. Principle number 9 for us is no debt, and we move at the speed of cash. Proverbs 22:7 says, the borrower is slave to the lender. So we're looking at the money we're investing in Senegal, instead of going into debt to create those different investments, we're moving at the speed of cash. So as we're building the chicken coop, we're moving at the speed of cash. As we're gonna create a house and build an Airbnb or something like that, we're gonna move at the speed of cash. And so we don't have any debt. We don't take on any debt. We move at the speed of cash. So some books that I've read that have helped a lot. I've already mentioned Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad. I've already mentioned 2 of Tony Robbins' books. Some more, The Millionaire Maker and The Millionaire Next Door. Okay. And I also took the investing course from Our Rich Journey to understand stock market investing, and I had them on our podcast. So I'll put that in the show notes below. So that's the essential wealth principles that our family follows. Know your vision, learn money, invest in yourself, be faithful with the little to become ruler over much, give. Your business is a money machine. Passive income, multiple income streams, and move at the speed of cash. If you found this useful, comment below the video. If you're listening to the podcast, you can leave a review or just shoot me a DM on Instagram at She's Making an Impact. I love to know what's landing with you, what's resonating, so I can create more content that really helps you, supports you in your vision. So what is your vision? What do you want to create? Are you interested in retiring early? Are you interested in living abroad? What are those things that are important to you? Because you get one life and it goes by fast, and you got to be really intentional every day, showing up and being intentional about creating that vision. So what is that vision for you? I would love to know, and I'll talk to you in the next episode.